wanted to start off with that because first Cannes and now IFFM, as I said, you're surely on a
Yes.
roll this year with your presence at some prestigious film festivals. So, how does it feel to represent India on a global platform?
It's definitely, a lot of responsibility, and I feel that, I mean, I can't, pressure is probably not the right word, but there's this, there is this feeling of, I guess, responsibility is what is probably the right word for, when you are at such places and you're representing your country. But it's
Yeah.
also a great time to actually, if you are being the face in any capacities, it's also a great time to express what you actually stand for and what your industry stands for. And sometimes when you are the face, then it's a great way of actually channeling what you truly believe in, and
Yes.
and bringing it out there for a larger world to see.
Mm-hmm. My next question was about that you're representing India on a global platform, and as you said, it does come with a lot of pressure, and there are a lot of expectations from the same. So, what's the best way to deal with that? How do you go with it?
I think the only way that's, I mean, answering probably this your question in the same fashion that I just did, but essentially, I feel like, you know, the only route that works in this way is to be authentic and to be true to yourself when you go on a
True.
platform like this. So I feel like to tackle this feeling of expectation, which one might experience when we go to platform. I mean, when we go on a, go to another country and represent your own. I feel like
Yeah.
my only process is to be my best self and what I intrinsically feel, because I don't think there can be anything else that you can base this on. It's really hard because otherwise you're just going to be. I mean, I don't think we can satisfy everyone,
True.
but the intention is to put out the most genuine, authentic, and the most and what you think is your best version.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the only part I control, and I feel like putting my energies into. So that's how I normally process it.
Mm-hmm. So, Tamanna, how would you define this phase of your career? I mean, you've been shining so bright and you have been breaking all barriers everywhere. So, what would you call this phase?
I think it's definitely a phase of lot of metamorphosis in many ways. For me, especially as an actor, it's a year where I have taken up parts which are nothing like what I've been seeing in till date. Starting with Bubbly Bouncer, which is
Yeah,
you know playing a bouncer, which is itself, the
totally
world itself
fresh
is
concept.
supposed to be. Yeah, I mean, the world is essentially male dominated, and it's not, you don't really see too many female bouncers, but actually there are a lot of female bouncers that we don't know of.
Yeah,
Of course, internationally it's common, but even in India, it largely exists. But I
yeah.
guess there's never a story been told about something like that. So that's definitely a project that I'm very proud of. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Also, have come up with a show for Amazon, which is called G Karda,
Mm-hmm.
which is produced by Maddock. And that's a show where I think I'm looking the closest to what I have, the kind of life I've led, and the kind of person I am, and the kind of like, I think it's closest to the world I've lived in. I
Yeah,
think all along, because I was working, in primarily Tamil and Telugu films. I think somewhere I was
yeah.
channeling their culture. And I being born and brought up in Mumbai, I never had a chance to really present where I kind of come from. So
Mm-hmm.
this show definitely, also because it's a show, it gives you the opportunity to dig your teeth in a lot more into the character over what a feature film would do for you.
Yeah.
So definitely the process is quite different, and it's a lot more immersive for me as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And I have Plan A, Plan B also coming out. It's a film with Shashank and Shashank Ghosh and Ritesh. It's a Netflix
Yeah, I
original.
think it's a Netflix thing. We saw the teaser or something which had come earlier, I guess.
Correct, correct. So
Yeah.
that's another release that's happening, and I have another project which I haven't announced yet,
Mm.
But that will come out because I'm holding up an announcement, so I can't really discuss it. But
Yeah,
again, that character is another character which is completely different. So I think in general, this year has been very, very, and I think at
satisfying and
every
great.
step, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the beauty is like just being just it's a very like it's a very artist energy where you're constantly becoming someone else. You're channeling another character. You so I get that's what I'm really like enjoying myself doing the most.
Mm-hmm. So, as someone who's been in the entertainment industry for over 2 decades now, you have seen film industry grow, and now with OTT, do you feel there's a pressure of staying relevant, or how do you look at it?
I think as an artist, it's kind of um, there are two very strong reasons why one has to constantly keep evolving. A, because if you have to be relevant itself as an artist, you have to be ever evolving. Otherwise, you can't. Like, if you're not evolving as a human being, you're not going to be able to evolve as an actor. So,
Mm.
so I feel like that becomes a very strong reason for evolving and then eventually staying relevant, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Um, but essentially, you want to stay relevant if you are really in the film industry or in the entertainment business because of the right reasons. Because I in general have mostly noticed that I think people come into this field for the name and fame and for the what they think is a very glamour driven industry, but actually
it's
it's
not,
quite a it's yeah it's quite a lot of labor,
and a
in my
lot of hard
opinion.
work.
And my opinion, it's a very laborious job in good clothes. So
Oh, yeah.
so I feel like the relevance is something that is the only way one can survive in being an artist. So
Mm.
one is that you want to evolve as a human being also and as an artist, which is why you stay relevant. And another is also your only way of existing in this environment. There's no other way unless you want to for some people it's a phase in their life. Being an artist is a phase. I don't know who are those people though, but I feel like if you are essentially an artist and you feel like it's a lifetime goal for you, then I guess the endeavor really never ends. And I don't consider it a pressure because I intrinsically from my nature, the kind of person I am, I get bored while I'm working on a film. Like I need to like it needs to happen fast. Otherwise, my mind travels from here to here too
Acha.
fast. So
Okay.
so to keep myself entertained so that I can
Mm.
entertain more people, I need to I need to stay stimulated. So I feel like the evolution needs to happen inside me so I can entertain myself to start with.
Yeah. So, as someone who's worked in North and South, what's been the major difference between your careers in South and Hindi films? And again, at the same time, do you feel there's a difference in the roles that were offered to you or the films that you chose?
I feel essentially when I started working in the industry itself, the kind of parts that were written for women were quite different. It was always the love interest, or it was always she was always the either the arm candy or the love interest,
The
or
glam quotient.
the glam quotient, which is great. See, listen, I belong to I'm also a consumer of cinema where I've loved watching the leading ladies look beautiful, sing around trees. That's for me Indian cinema. The musicals are the best part of
Yeah.
being a part of Indian cinema. So I completely, it's not like I look down upon it in any capacity. I have been a part of it myself. I have admired it growing up. But I feel like today, after like 17 years into the industry, I don't think I would want to repeat myself doing that same thing. And I don't
Mhm.
think once the audiences also have seen me do, so many films that were in that space. For me as an artist, it's only natural to want to explore other pastures which are probably different and not explored in my journey.
Mhm.
Um, so now I've of course moved on to doing a lot more, me centric, stuff where I have need to perform. I, as an
Mhm.
actor, can explore myself. And the good part is, even as time has elapsed, the opportunities are a lot more thanks to OTT, and even I think even
Yeah.
feature wise, I think in general people, thanks to technology, got so much exposure of so much cinema all over the world that all of a sudden, we are watching Korean shows, we are watching, different language shows. So because
Yeah.
of that exposure now, our idea of what is good content also is changing constantly. So for me as an actor, it's great because what I could not do say 10, 12 years ago, I can do now.
Mhm.
Also, what probably wouldn't have been accepted 10, 12 years ago is accepted now. um,
Yeah.
so people's minds have opened up, and so has mine. Like, I think the evolution is happening simultaneously, like of the audience and of me as an artist as well.
Mm-hmm. But when you came off from Bahubali, did you expect that you would be offered similar kind of roles in Hindi? Did that happen?
Well, see, Bahubali, first of all, I don't think there can ever be a comparison drawn to that film because that film was so unique in
Exactly.
its
Yeah.
nature. Like, I think everyone played characters that we had never played, and I don't think we will. We could definitely play an. I mean, I could do an action film definitely in the future, but I don't think I could do a film like Bahubali.
Okay.
Because that subject itself is unique and novel, and it is, you can do a period film, you can do a period action film, but that will be another film. Then it will not be like Bahubali. It was a different world. It was a completely fictitious world in long ago. uh, so there were characters that were just written, in the most magnanimous way, and
Yeah.
it is rare actually for a career to have, a film of that
Mm-hmm.
landscape and also of that reach, because it touched something like 1,000 crores, which is like unheard of in our.
Yeah.
It's not every day that happens. Um, but having said that, I think actually Bahubali opened the doors for me for a lot of variety. Like, I think people started to realized that I had so much more as an artist. I wasn't just, the girl next door, who's sweet and, nice,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so many more layers to me as a person and as an artist.
Mm-hmm. Tamanna, I was watching this interview of yours where you had shared that, now you have to bring this 2.0 version of yourself, especially for the stardom and the fan following that you have. So, as an actor, how do you balance the needs of your fans and the growth of yourself you require from yourself as an artist?
I think the idea is to, like I said, I think people are evolving, audiences are evolving as much as I am too. But I think for me, essentially, uh, as much as I love the people who have made me who I am today, it's very important for me to constantly center myself and bring myself to what I think I am. Because if I can't do that for myself, then I can't really entertain the audiences in the truest, most honest way. So
Exactly.
right now,
Yeah.
I'm not really, to be honest, in this phase of my career, I'm not thinking that what are people thinking. Honestly, I mean, there's no. As much as I love my fans and as much as they are the ones who got me where I am today. But I
Mm-hmm.
still feel like if I have to really, in the true case of sense, be of any relevance, or be contribute in any capacity to the art form that I'm in, I'll have to really kind of, I've almost like blinded myself out from what people think about me. It's
Mm-hmm.
now become a lot more about what I think about me, and I really want to channel that out 100%.
Again, at the same time, you have a very strong social media presence, and time and again, you have been pretty adept at handling the social media trolls and negativity that comes. How do you look at that?
Honestly, I don't think I've had too much. I think the audiences in general been quite chill with me on social media. I'm not much of a troll. I don't. I have not experienced much of it, but I think it's fine. I think the medium is such. It is an interactive medium. People who
Yeah.
are faceless will want to put out their perspective, and it's much easier for them to do it because they're faceless.
Mhm.
I think it's a byproduct of the medium. There's no way to run away
Yeah.
from it. So
Mm-hmm.
if I am in that position, if I think it matters to, me and my life to answer those questions, I'll answer it or I'll reply to them. But if I don't feel
Yeah,
it's relevant and I feel like it doesn't contribute to anybody's anything, then I will just you know, I will just let it be and
yeah.
move on from there and anyway do what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. So, what did you learn from your co-stars, especially Siddharth, Manoj, Naga, and NTR? Your biggest takeaways from, working with them?
I think they have a very, very strong sense of self, yeah. And I feel like I'm in that phase of career where I am so much more focused on that than I was ever before. I think that's a
Yeah.
huge part of becoming someone who a larger audience relates to. It's like if you've
Mm-hmm.
understood yourself, you can somehow reach out to everyone. It's a weird thing
Yeah.
where you don't need to understand the whole world actually. You can't because it's not possible. Everyone is unique. But
Yeah.
all you need to do is understand yourself. And I feel like each one of these amazingly talented stars have actually understood themselves in the best capacity. And I feel like that's why people feel for them so much. They resonate so much with them because they're a medium that's so self-aware
Yeah.
that you see a lot of people relating to. So it's a strange state, but it's more about the more you're in touch with yourself, the more you connect with a lot more people.
Yeah. I have one last question. So, for someone who started acting, I think from the age of 13 or 15, is there one piece of advice that you would give to yourself when you started out?
I think growing up, I used to be really, I used to really wonder how will it all work out? How will it happen? How will I get here? How will I do this? A constant state of asking whether, it will work out, not work out. Um, but I think when I was young, I had all these questions, but today there's a lot more faith. So I would tell
Mm-hmm.
myself, at least my younger self, to have a lot more faith and to love myself a lot more. Yeah, I think sometimes we all when you're in a competitive environment, you tend to get really harsh on yourself. And
Yeah.
I feel like it's so important to love yourself on those days you don't feel like loving yourself. So I feel like um, that is something I would definitely do to my younger self, or I would say to my younger self.
Mm-hmm. This is very sweet and inspiring.
I hope it touches people because I feel like I think today's time and age, everyone's hustling, right? In some
Yeah.
capacity or the other. Everyone is trying to, reach their full potential or at least get to their best version, whatever that is. And
Yeah.
it's hard. It's not an easy process. It is a difficult process.
Yeah.
But I think if you're nice, if you're good to us, if you're give ourselves love is when we can actually love other people. So
True.
um, so yeah, I hope also the coming generation is kinder to themselves than sometimes what we've been.
Yeah. So, thank you so much, Tamanna, for doing this with me.